G'day guys, welcome to another episode of Life of Chromie's 200 series build. Parts have started rolling in and we're excited. We have in this rear box
our rear bar.
In this box we have our rear bar. We're excited. Let's go ahead and blow this thing apart. Let's get into it. Alright. Hopefully we can even see it. Holy, that is a big box. Watch your head. Alright, look at all those pieces. So I got all the pieces here from the cruiser company. Everything has been coated in a black powder coat, and this is a satin finish powder coat, and you can see here in the sun, like it is fingerprint marking and stuff. I got that done, which is their standard finish, so that we can go ahead, scuff all of this up, and we're gonna actually coat this in 2-pack 218 Eclipse Black, which is the same color as the 200 series, just to color match everything and make it look $1,000,000. We're gonna go ahead and unwrap all of these bits and pieces and get into the prep work. So that's all pieces pulled apart. I'll tell you what, a cruiser company, they definitely go above and beyond when they're wrapping stuff up. It just took us ages to get this apart. Very well wrapped. If you wanted to leave all of these pieces in the black finish that they supply everything in, I guarantee that'll be perfect when it rocks up. There was so much foam, so much wrapping on these. It's really, really good to see. So we got most of the parts prepped up here. We just scotchied everything to take the shine off them. You'll see here, I'll show you. That's the gloss black, nice smooth finish there. And you can see here where we've just taken that shine off. We'll be able to prime that and then lay down some 2-pack on all of these pieces. So while it is black, I just wanted to make it look $1,000,000 and perfectly color match your car. So we've spectroed the car, matched it to the color, and we're going to lay that on. But I've got something very cool to show you that we'll set up just out here in the backyard in a sec, and that's what we'll be painting in, so stay tuned. Alrighty, we're almost ready to paint. We're going to paint in this, believe it or not, that is what we are painting in. So that's it. How bloody cool is this inflatable spray booth? It is literally sitting in my backyard. It is unreal. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna throw the bar and all the little pieces, little bracketry and everything in this cool as little housing. Seal it up, we're gonna paint it in there. Mint. Here we go, all set up, ready to paint. Got all my pieces fixed in here. All set up, ready to go. Mr. Jeremy on the spray gun. How good. That's how we do it at home. So this is the inflatable unit that we got. A couple of motors on the back, a couple of fans blowing it. Paint prep room there if you need it, and then clear doors either side to let the light in. You can see the rear bar, sorry, in there. There's a couple of skylights in the roof. There's filtration panels on the side that let the air out, so it doesn't create too much pressure on the inside. Huge big zip at this end. You can drive an entire car in there if you need to, and then zip this enclosed area back up. So sneak peek in there. Jeremy's spraying everything with the final colour now for the 200 series rear bar, so absolutely stoked with this setup for the backyard. Jeremy's in the booth at the moment, bombing the last couple of clear coats on the bumper and all the bracketry for the 200 series rear bar, so super stoked about this. Yeah, we'll pull this thing down tomorrow morning and start installing the rear bar. So there you go, the bar's all sprayed, all the bits and pieces are over there. We've got the booth pulled down, check it out. Looks amazing in the sun. I'm super stoked with that. Can't wait to get these fitted.
It's install day.
Go on then.
That's your energy.
You start it.
No.
Like that. Yeah, go on.
It is installation day.
Yeah, keen. The instructions say it takes about 10 hours though, so I'm not going to go full detailed installation video on this one. I'll just do a brief run through of what you do and don't need to do, things you need to look out for, and hopefully we can wrap up this install in one day. If not, we'll have to roll over tomorrow, but let's get it done.
Let's get it what?
Let's get it done. Right, so we've unbolted everything for the rear bar. There's a bunch of bolts on the bottom. There's a couple little clips around the top, and you've got to pry up the stair tread that you stand on the rear bumper. Pop that off. There's a couple of bolts on the back, and this is a VX, so it's got reverse sensors, so we've had to unplug those as well. And then I think we should be right to pull it off. I'm off.
This always makes me feel like I'm breaking something. Oh.
Done.
Easy.
Look at that. I'll just leave it like that.
Step one, achieved.
All the dirt in there.
Yeah, that's pretty gross.
That's crazy. You think you wash these as well as you can. Oh, good time to give it a clean. All right, just got to get the last couple of bolts out here in the middle of this cross member. And then I might try and just hold it and pass it to you. But don't go in my eyes. Oh. Oh, that was in the face. All right. See you later.
Bar time.
Let's go.
What do you reckon it weighs?
Oh, I don't know. 70 kilos maybe?
She's got a fair bit of weight into it, so it's going to be very interesting seeing how we're going to be able to lift this up and put it on the back of the cruiser.
We'll do something ghetto. We've got the engine crane.
I don't know how to do this. This is so awkward. Oh, that's better.
So, I reckon if we can sling it on the engine crane from the rear, just try and take it up. I just don't know what's going to happen, like where it's going to swing.
Well, I'm not really holding that, so
Sweet.
it shouldn't really swing back anywhere.
How hard is it to roll that up?
Not at all.
Easy. Yep, I'll need to go up a little bit.
Oops.
What was that? That's all right. I actually need to go up and over that
Same.
thingy, and I'll need to come my way to do that.
Yep. I've got a fair bit of room.
You got a fair bit of room. All right, can you just hold your side up so it doesn't fall? I'm just going to see how far off these bolt holes are. Straight in.
Lovely. I need to go back a little bit more. No, towards the front of the car.
Forwards.
Forward, and then towards you if possible. Yeah, no, it's...
No chance?
I need to go towards the front of the car more again.
So I've had to pull the rear bar back off the car. The slots in the rear bar didn't give enough alignment for me to be happy with it side to side. It was just a little bit off. I was touching on one side. So I've ripped it off. I've slotted the holes out a bit. I'm going to go ahead and throw it back on, and this time it should go on straight away. All bolted on for good. All gaps checked and lined up. Got all the extra brackets on. Mud flap mounts. So she's pretty much fixed there now. Next step, we've got some lights, tail lights, and some reverse or spotties to chuck in. go ahead and get those in, and then just start putting all of the stainless steel pieces on, the catches and all the bits and pieces before we can start on the swing arms or the swingaways. So just a note, if you're following the fitting instructions, and followed them step by step and assembled these latches with the little angle brackets that they mount to. Now, it says to assemble them first, and this stainless steel bracket mounts to here. It's just like a support and runs up on another piece on the rear bar. But if you assemble all these latches first, then you can't get the bloody bolts in the holes. So that's something that annoyed me. I just assembled everything with the latches and then had to pull it all back apart just so I could mount these. The other thing is, the install instructions don't specify anything about the stainless part that goes on the rear bar itself. So you can definitely put those on the wrong way. Basically what this does is, as the latch and the swing away shuts, these two plates contact, and it just helps lift and support that rear arm or the swing away, just to take a bit of the weight. So something to note if you're putting it together. Righto, next up, bearings for the carrier arms. So we've got the large and the small bearings here. We're about to go and grease those up, but I just wanted to show you these. How cool are these? Little bearing seal, billet aluminium with an O-ring. So you're not going to damage the seal. You can just knock that back out, replace that O-ring if you need to, and you're good to go. And that's your dust cap, full billet aluminium. So very, very cool. It's got a O-ring seal at the top, but then it's also got a circlip, like a floating circlip in there. So it just locks down on top of the bearing carrier. Looks amazing, and it's so serviceable. Just replace the O-ring.
You having fun?
I am. So as you can see, I'm doing the bearings for the spare wheel carriers. It is a messy job, but it needs to be done. So that's about the last thing that I've got to do before we can chuck the wheel carriers on, get them all set up and adjusted, and then the overcenter's aligned, and then once the latches are aligned, they'll all work. And that's pretty much the big stuff of the rear bar done. It's just tail light wiring, the reverse light wiring, a few adjustments, bits and pieces, then we can throw the jerry can holders on and the spare tyre on. Pretty keen. High 10? You sure?
Yeah, I'm good.
High 5?
Nah.
Alright, so the bearings are all greased up. We've got the seals in the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and throw both of these arms on, get the top bearings in, and then seal them up, and then just make the finer adjustments to make sure that they work and operate smoothly. And then we can start cutting up the rear bar.
Again, yay.
Yeah, it is one of those things you got to measure 3 times and cut once, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely not big gaps. Looks ugly. Snug. So do you want to swing it in and out, just so I can start setting the tension on it. Make sure everything's locked in. How tight's that? Pretty tight. Nice. Right, you keep flexing that one for a little bit, and then I'll back it off and I'll reset it, and then we'll put our split pin in. All right, last step. Split pin in. Where'd the hole go? Over here. Install that. Then we've got this mint little billet cap here with the O-ring and the press clip seal. Tap that on, good to go. All right, let's get these latches set up.
Latches are on.
Latches are on. Should we even put the lock stops in? Bring it all the way out and around. Lock stops will have to end up. It's probably better that they come out further. Might get the gas struts on and see if they bottom out or anything.
Yeah.
Cool.
Coming together.
Hell yeah, that's sick. try and line these holes up first go. Nice. Alright, let's find some bolts. So say about 880 clearance, 440. Alright, I might move it in as far as I can. Do this one up. That ain't coming off. Mm-hmm. Nylock nuts and lock top.
Lovely.
Alrighty. God,
that adds heaps of weight to it now.
Yeah, once you put the tyre and shit on there too, that's why you got the gas strut. Alright, well there's all the nuts.
Oh, I see.
Alrighty, so the spare wheel plate or the wheel mount is offset, so if you put it in the wrong way, you'll end up with a spare wheel sitting about 45 degrees on the back of your car. So just make sure you get that right. And once you get the bolts in, you're probably best to just leave it a bit loose, throw your rim on, and just make sure the offset is right so that your tyre doesn't touch the back of your car, because you can pull it further out or in if you need to. Before you do them up, do the front two bolts first, because when you open the swing arm, you can get to them, but after you put the rear two bolts in, you can't get to the front two. So do all your adjustments on the front two first, and then after you're sorted, go ahead and chuck the rear bolts in. Right, so I'm just going to whack these two bolts in the middle holes, and that way I've got plenty of adjustment front to back to work out where I need to put the wheel. Then I'll bolt the wheel on and then slowly close the swing away so I don't hit the car in case it is too close. Alrighty, so you just throw your bolts into your spare tyre mount from the back side, lock them up into the welded nuts, and then that way you can just slide your wheel on and use a standard wheel nut on the other side. Let's get the spare up. You good? Going up.
Lovely.
Alright, so I just tried to do the wheel up with the wheel nuts, and you can see on the inside it's actually touching this metal frame here. So I've got to back this off now and then just slide the whole assembly further forward or outward off the back of the car just to clear this. And with a quick couple of measurements, there's no way that it's going to hit the car. So as soon as I clear this, we're going to be good to go. I'll just lock it up there. Alright, now the wheel is tight. Got plenty of clearance on the inside. I'll nip that up and then make sure it clears when we shut it. Clears by heaps. Got about 50 mil there at the closest spot.
We wrapped up the wheel carrier. Everything's looking good, fits neatly. Obviously needs a clean. It's been underneath the car for a very long time, so we'll be looking forward to giving it a good scrub. What have we got next?
Jerry holder. So we've got the swing away on this side, which houses the twin jerry can holder. That's a little bit of a puzzle. We've got to piece that together on the floor, then fit it to the back. Then we'll wire up the tail lights and do the hard thing and cut the bumper up. It's going to be scary, but we'll get it finished. I'd say one thing I've found is if you mount the jerry can holders in the spot that we've got it in, which is offset to the middle, the mounting holes for the bottom, the bolts for that, they're offset to this slot, so it's actually quite difficult to get the nut and the washer on. So what I've done is glued the washer to the nut. Little trick here is get an Allen key or a screwdriver or something, poke it in the hole from the bolt side all the way through, put your nut and washer on, slide that back out, and if you can get your finger in there, you can just line up the nut, pull your Allen key out, and then put the bolt in from the other side, and then hopefully you can just hold the pressure on the nut enough to put the nut in, put the bolt in. And do it up. Then you don't have to spend ages trying to get a washer on, then a nut on, and it's not fun. All right, so I'm about to cut the bumper corners and get them fitted up above the bar, but this is a VX, so it's got reverse sensors, so I'm going to pull the loom out, just cut all the clips, pop the loom out, and then get the reverse sensors out of the rear bar. They're pretty easy to do, you just unplug them. There's a couple little wing clips on the backside behind the bar. You just got to press them down as you slide the whole sensor out of the holes, and then just make sure you put them back in the exact spot and orientation that they were in the new rear bar. Right, that's the wiring harness out. Oh, these two middle ones are very difficult. Okay. Just need a little bit of extra leverage. There we go. All right. Stock rear bar chop time. So I've got the reflectors down here, they're removed, and the reverse sensors are all taken out. So there's nothing left to do now except to chop it. But to make it easy for myself, I know we need, I don't know, from about here upwards from my measurements. So I'm just gonna cut the whole bar off just through here on each side to make it easier to just work with this panel while I'm measuring it all up, so that it just sits in there nicely, covers the blind spot monitor. There we go. Just rip through that with a grinder. Got my two panels, nice and easy to work on now. So now I've got to measure everything and cut once. Alrighty, so I've set myself up a little table here. My plan is basically just measure it in a heap of different points along that gap. I'll transfer the marks across to this tape, make sure that we're sitting pretty even, and then mark a line through here with this ruler. Should be able to get it flexible enough to just mark a line, move it 20 mil up, remark a line, that'll be my cut line. That'll give us 20 mil clearance from the plastic bumper to the steel bull bar, or steel rear bar, and then that pinch seal will just fill that gap nicely. Make a neat radius edge, and we'll just cut through there, cut that off. Let's hope it was right. All right.
Moment of truth.
Test fit. See what happens. I'll have to trim it up and over that cap.
We can't just like squeeze it in over that?
No. Let me just pop it off for now. Try not to scratch everything up here.
Yeah. It needs to go forward my side.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just sitting on top of this swing away bearing. All right, how parallel does that look? That's pretty good. All right, I'll just mark out this where the bearing cap's got to go. Trim that, and then one side is done. We had a couple of issues fitting the rear bar, so I thought I'd just share with you guys what they were. The hole centers in the main mounting points were just a little bit off, so I did have to die grind one side out just to get that rear bar to sit nice and even both sides of the vehicle. That was one thing. The fitting instructions were a little bit vague, so I spent a bit of time really reading them, so make sure you read the instructions very, very carefully. Read them a couple of times. Things like these over center latches and just the way that those assemblies go together wasn't very clear, so we'll chuck a couple of shots in of the rear bar and the way that we've done it, and hopefully you can get some information from that as well. It has been a while since we filmed this video. As you can see, I have no beard. We spent the last couple of months getting ready for our lap of Australia, which is coming up in 4 weeks. So if you guys want to follow us along, please subscribe to our channel. We absolutely love the support. And if you guys want to see what we get up to for the next 12 months on the road with our dogs, follow along.